Good morning, my friends. Wednesday morning, the 13th of, I almost said September. October! It's the 13th of October. Welcome. Where I am, it is morning. I hope it is a good day wherever you are and whatever time zone you are. Um, Before we start with this topic, I just want to tell you I have tears in my eyes because William Shatner, Captain James T. Kirk, at age 90, successfully flew into space this morning. And I am beside myself about it. You know, those of you who know me know I'm a huge Star Trek fan. For everything, I mean, not only is it a great series, I mean, it's a great franchise, you know, but everything that it represents, you know, it represents such a beautiful, bright future, you know, and it represents the marvels of technology and the bravery of people going out and really, you know, it's the modern day version of being in a wagon with horses, like facing the unknown, right? So I adore this series, and I love all the larger pieces of it and the smaller bits of stories and stuff like that. And so I am beside myself that William Shatner did that, you know, and he's 90 years old. And I just texted a friend and said, "Is that not amazing?" And my friend said, "Better him than me," you know, and said something to the effect of, when people ask me if I ever want to go into space, I always reply with, "I'd rather go to Tuscany," you know, which I feel the same. But it's William Shatner, and he's 90, and I think that he was utterly willing to end his life that way if it came to that, right? Like, I'm thrilled. So anyway, I don't mean to belabor it, but I'm just super, super thrilled. And if you have a chance to read any article about it, I just encourage you to, because, and then on an individual level, you know, just him being attached to that character for his entire career and then actually being able to go into space. It's just a beautiful story. So anyway, good morning to you all. Hello, Yvonne. Hello, Michelle, Emily. Oh my gosh, look at you all here. Oh, Michelle, you're crying too. All right, we have a thing. Again, I hope you're all well this morning. So today we're going to talk about women in promo. So I fully expect that it's going to be us ladies. And this is a tough topic, I have to say. I mean, I feel like I'm going to be dropping some big, hard truth bombs here. And yet, these are the things that must be said. I think what we're all after here, are solid journeyman careers, right? Where we work, and we work for a long time. And a part of being someone who works, right? And works consistently is knowing where the work is, right? And going to get it, right? That's a big piece of it. So let me start by saying that I have done promos since the 80s, actually. And I think I've mentioned this, and I say this not to name drop, because it's ridiculous, but there's a lesson in it, right? The very first promo that I did was for NBC for a show called Life Stories, and I did that promo with Don LaFontaine, who is the legendary king of promos. God rest his soul. And after doing that one promo, I was considered to be a woman in promo, right? Which is, it's a nice ego stroke, but it's meaningless, because I didn't make my living in promo. I've never made my living in promo. 1 year. I actually made what could be considered a living in promo out of a 35-year career, right? So what that indicates to me is the novelty of women in promo, certainly back in the 80s, right? It was novel to have a woman do a promo. I wasn't the first woman to do a promo by any stretch. I was one of a handful, right? So that, that's something. But my point is that certainly back then, promo was a man's game. And my colleagues, I must say to you that it is still a man's game. It still is. Even though more women are doing promo and there are hugely more opportunities for women in promo because, again, when I started, it was ABC, NBC, CBS, and then eventually the Fox network came in. But that was it. But now we have cable, which has been around, since the 80s. But really as a player is starting in the late 80s, early 90s with a lot of shows. I mean, nobody thought at the time that cable would be anything and that that the networks would continue to rule. And wow, what a different story that is. The networks do not rule. They do not rule. Cable rules. Pay television rules. So we've got cable, and then we have streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, many more, right? So there is so much more opportunity to do promo, right? And so more women are doing it, but I would be hard pressed to believe that the ratio from men to women has changed, right? So there are a lot more men doing promo and there are a lot more women doing promo, but I think the ratios are about the same. So that is a really big piece of reality. It's something that I have never let get in my way. I've never, again, I mentioned this before. I never have perceived myself as a victim of that. I just go where the work is. And I was fortunate enough to get work and, to do some work. The most work I ever did was for CBS daytime, right? CBS daytime. So for soap operas, which is considered the realm of the female, right? There's so much. Oh, it's just so funny to me. And anyway, all the sort of stereotypes. Anyway, nonetheless, that was, 25 years ago, right? So things have definitely changed in that regard. And more women are being used on different series and such. But again, I dare say the ratio of men to women has not changed that much. Yvonne Viner, I would be interested to know your perception of that, having worked at an agency that represents a lot of both men and women who do promo. I would be curious what your take on that is. If you want to pop that in the comments, that would be awesome. Let's see. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, well, there's also some, there are some lingering and pervasive attitudes, I think, with regards to women in promo. And it's illustrated in this way, right? I know some people who do and have done a lot of promo. Like promo is their life. Men, right? So I hear stories about casting and about the process of when someone is replaced at a network, right, to do promos. And networks tend to, like, just NBC for an example, but it's the same with the others. They tend to use men for a good long time, right? They'll have a long career, in promo. Like, Townsend Coleman did promos for NBC for a decade. he was followed by Steve Mackle, who is now, I think, in his 12th year doing promos for NBC Late Night. And that's a long time. And that is a lot of money because it's union and it's multiple spots and it's every day and all of that, right? So, sort of having been witness to what it's like for them to be replaced and what that process is, right? There's this sense in which when somebody wants to bring a man in to do a promo, they say, get me Reno Romano, get me Steve Mackle, get me Townsend Coleman, get me, I could name others, they're just not on the tip of my tongue, right? They're very specific, right? Or get me that type, right? Get me a Townsend Coleman type, right? And, but when it comes to women, the general thing is, get me a woman. Like, what, we don't have names? Like we don't have identities and very specific reads and very specific styles and, all of that. It's very much indicative to me of kind of where we stand. We don't have individual personalities. As if there's only kind of one woman who could do a promo, right? It's a fascinating thing to me. And I say this because it's real and it lives in the realm of promo. You will find exceptions everywhere. So I know many of you will have stories about, yeah, but so-and-so does this, or so-and-so does that, or there's a female announcer with the NFL now, and that kind of stuff. All of those things are true. And those are examples of women who have really pushed, and really strived. Is that a word? Striven? They strove. They really strove, right? And they accomplished. And they're all, it's like there's always somebody who wins the lottery, right? That's true. But what about the everyday working people, who are wanting to break in and get into and have a career in a particular field like this? To me, the reality of it, well, let me back up and say that I think it is still true that if you want a career in promo, you have to be represented. And you have to be represented pretty much in Los Angeles or New York. New York is kind of it's kind of the base for evening network news, right? Los Angeles is the realm of TV shows and network TV shows and stuff. And again, Yvonne, I call on you because you've been kind of an insider. So if I'm full of crap, please feel free to say so in the comments. But I am truly unaware of women who are getting promo on their own. I'm unaware that they're getting it on Voice 123. I'm unaware that they're getting it via LinkedIn. I'm unaware that they are getting it through individual email campaigns, right? Contacting producers at the networks. If that's the case, somebody enlighten me. But that is not how I've experienced it, right? So on top of that, then, you've got the issue of the ratio of men to women. And when you put those things together, you go, yeah, that's not an easy path. It's not an easy path. It's highly unlikely that a woman, a man for that matter too, who is not represented by a major agency who is receiving auditions and has relationships with the networks and with the streaming services and cable channels is going to get work in promo. Let me scroll through here and say, hello, Amanda. Hello, John. Nice to have you. Hello, Susan. Amanda, you're asking good questions here. Is there work on streaming platforms? Yes, 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 yes. That there is more work there, but again, as I mentioned, it's it's still a man's game, right? Um, so so again, I think putting those things together, right? We really have to look at it and be really realistic about what our chances are of engaging promo in the same way that we would engage commercial work or narration work, or even video game work these days, which happens a lot outside of the coasts, right, if you will. That is shifting, right? Um, so I do feel like that's like my primary responsibility to say that to you, right? To be truthful about it, right? Um, it's entirely possible to, enter a contest, as I know they have it, like That's Voiceover, where you can read a promo for, a producer that's showing up, and you might win a small promo campaign if you win that, right? But again, that's lottery winning stuff. That's not career building stuff, right? So, um, I've already spoken for 17 minutes. Good God. I feel like I haven't really said anything. So I want to say this so as not to be like a giant wet blanket, on anyone's desire to do promo. But the reality is, I think, that if you genuinely want a career in promo, you got to be represented by those talent agencies, which usually reside on the East and West Coast. You have to be represented by them. Doesn't mean you have to live there, right? We all know plenty of people who live across the country, who do promo, but they do promo because they've already established the relationship both with their agent and with the networks that use them. And they established that in Los Angeles, and then they moved. Right. So now where we have to go is like, what kind of a career do you have such that you can engage a primary agency that deals in promo. Right. So that means your career already has to be pretty much somewhat established in other areas of voiceover before a major agency is going to go, yeah, we'll take you on. Oh, you're interested in promo? Great. We'll send you some auditions and we'll see how it goes. Right? So it's complex, I think. And so I think that if you really want to do promo, there are paths, but they're very narrow, and you have to be willing, to make, I think, real sacrifice. In order to, engage those possibilities. So let's see if there's anything else I want to say in there. I guess the bottom line is promo possible for women? Yes, it is. I don't know any woman right now who is making a living doing promo. I think it is a piece of the puzzle. It's a piece of the career puzzle, right? I just did some promos yesterday that I feel like dropped out of the sky. It's like, what? Where did this come from? But that's like, the last time that happened for me was in June of 2020, right? That's not career making. That's like, that's a great lucky day, but it's not career making, right? So I think that we have to think again of our careers as we have to think holistically about our careers, right? And that it's really important that we work in every area. And if you find yourself, in a position where you can engage the attention of agents who handle promo, then you should pursue it. I am unclear about sort of local promo or regional promo. I'm not sure that's a thing. Because promos are about, they're about promoting networks, and they're about promoting channels and promoting series on those channels, and those things tend to be, they're national, right? So let me just check and see if there are any other questions in here. Yeah, Amanda, yeah, that's an interesting point too that you bring up. They're leaning more toward title cards and sound clips, right, instead of VO. It's very true. I mean, and it's true with trailers too. I went to a movie like in the beginning of 2020, and I sat through 13 trailers, and there wasn't a single voiceover. Not one. Not one. Right? So that stuff is happening as well in promo. So yeah, super interesting. And all that does is reduce the amount of work for everyone, right? So I know I'm stating the obvious. Let's see. Yvonne, still a man's game for sure. Yes. I was looking into promo for movies. Yes, Amanda, that, which would be trailers, right? Yeah. Men can intimidate and provoke, where women can't always do that for horror type reads. Yeah, I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that. With this notion that only men can intimidate and provoke all the feelings, where women can't do that. Ask my daughter how terrified she is of me. It's just not true. Like we can totally intimidate and scare and be creepy and be authoritative. We can do all the things. It's just whether, it's like our job right now is to be able to convince people that we can do all the things, which of course is ridiculous that we have to convince them, right? Again, Amanda, represented by an agent as well as manager. No, I don't think you have to have both. There are plenty of people who do promo who only are represented by agents. There are a couple of management companies that handle promo and trailer people exclusively. But again, it's like they have a stable of men and maybe one or two women. It's not, it's real. That whole thing is real. Yes. So Yvonne is confirming for me that the vast majority of promo work does go through agencies. Yeah. Yes. And an agency with a strong promo department in particular will see opportunities that nobody else will. That is very true. I don't think you're going to see much promo opportunity in regional agencies. I've not seen it, and I'm familiar. I'm, in the back pocket of a couple of regional agencies, and I've never gotten promo stuff from them. So, yes, again, Amanda, you're just full of information today. The only jobs in promo I can get is regional news stations. And you know what? Those are affiliate promos, right? They're a different breed of promo altogether. But yeah, that's true. That kind of affiliate promo work can be had regionally. If you're connected, because like the agency I'm with, they have kind of the market cornered on providing affiliate news station voices. So again, greater opportunity comes from being represented by agents that pursue that type of work. So again, and Yvonne is saying too, I know you guys are all reading these things, but yes, it's mostly agents, sometimes managers, but managers who specialize in promo. Let's see. Females I've used for females in news, I've been used in morning spots. Yes, right? It's more morning spots, like we're the cheery ones. It's like CBS This Morning, as opposed to the hard news stuff, which, it's like people think that's sort of the purview of men. So, and you cold called. Good for you, Amanda. That's fantastic. So again, I think that there are some hurdles, that we're still jumping over, right, in order to get this kind of work. And I would never want to dissuade anyone who wants to pursue it, because eventually there are going to be women who come along who say, we're changing this industry. and it's slow. That's happening. There are women who do promo and they are sort of slowly shifting the tide, but it's going to take another wave. It's not my wave anymore, right? I may have been one of a handful of women who did promos in the 80s and 90s. That was a long time ago. Like, my part is done in terms of turning the tide. It's really up to, I think, a younger generation of women who are gonna shift it. And how you go about that, like, I'm old school. Y'all are gonna invent a new way of going at it. You're gonna make your own path, right? So let me end with that. I've gone really, really long, but again, it's there. The truth bombs are there's most of the work is still for men. There's a lot more opportunity out there, and so there are more women who are doing it. But it's not by virtue of the fact that women are now doing 50%. It's like, no, that's not happening. It's because we've got cable stations and streaming services where there's more work. So those are all great things. It's imperative to me that you have representation with an agency that handles promo. Those are the realities of the day. And then, those of you who really want to do it, I charge you to blaze a trail. I have no idea how to tell you how to do that, but I trust that you will. Because we're good like that. So, along with those truth bombs, I hope, maybe just a little bit of encouragement and perhaps a challenge, right? To, like, if you really want to do it, get out there and fight the good fight. So, that's it. I will leave you all. Thank you for indulging me this long. I appreciate all your input, Amanda, Yvonne. It's just really great. Okay, Heather, good. You go blaze that trail for all of us, right? And I will call it good for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, great rest of the week. And if you have a chance to read any article about William Shatner, James T. Kirk going into space, do it. It'll make you happy. All right, everybody. Talk to you next week, and I'll see you online. Take care. Ciao.